All right. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Hala Pablo. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go ahead and continue on with our Bitcoin analysis updates the way we have. We're going to continue to go off this April 2022 fractal over here on the left. This occurred almost 4 years ago. It came out of an all-time high, as you see in the cycle, that turned out to be a redistribution here. This is this cycle on the macro blown up here. Shortly thereafter this, we got the death cross. Now this fractal, bear in mind, this fractal here can get invalidated, and I'm kind of hoping it does, because I don't want to see something like this where we went down to the bottom here. This was the end. This was a very deep bear cycle here on the macro. This is on a daily, and so you remember this, right? This one went all the way down to like $15,000. You know, so we don't want to see that kind of steep sell-off, obviously, with Bitcoin. But nonetheless, we're going to track this. We're going to track this fractal all the way down until we can't track it anymore. And this one here on the right. Now this is today's November 12th. This one diverges from this, but so far it hasn't diverged. So we see that it came out of this preliminary supply zone here, which was mitigated. Selling climax, okay, anchored the VWAP volume weighted average price here to the selling climax in both. Then you see it coming up through the trading range midline here. I took away the trading range resistance area from the automatic rally point just because the charts are getting too cluttered. And anyway, the ICE line, or the VWAP, kind of serves as like a very reliable range midpoint. And so we see this going through the center of the price action on both. Secondary test, this is normal, comes up after making the automatic rally, comes back down and mitigates or seeks to mitigate the selling climax. In both cases, it didn't quite come down as deeply as the selling climax. Then it came back up for like an up thrust. And then this area here where the anchored VWAP goes through, kind of went through here. We had more liquidity sweeps back about 4 years ago, but nonetheless it still hugged the anchored VWAP. And then we came up on a UTAD here. Both of these UTADs, the one in 2022 and the one this year, came in at low demand. So it was no surprise that it backed down. It went back down to fall back into the ice. Now, in both cases, the UTAD and the preliminary supply zone were mitigated, as you see here. Both of them were mitigated. The same. Oh, I always go backwards on that. The same zone here was mitigated, and this was right in line with the range resistance. So there's an order block, a very large order block that spans from the preliminary supply zone all the way across this range, and so that is the range resistance. And so in both cases we came back down to the ice. The ice is slightly above the 0.5 Fibonacci, or this trading range midpoint, TRM, which is this dotted yellow line. And here we sit. And now this is current. This is a what do I have this on? This is on the 2 hour, and we see that we've come right back down and magnetize. Remember, like the ice is just like think of it like a price action magnetizer. It just magnetizes the price action to the volume weighted average. So this is the average value of Bitcoin. And so 4 years ago, we see that after the UTAD, we came back down, we bounced off the trading range midpoint, came back up above the ice like we did here. It's kind of uncanny how these things play out, almost tit for tat. And then this came back down. This is coming back down as well. Now, if we go ahead and play the bars from can we play the bars from 2022 to see what transpired afterwards? We came back down to midpoint again, so we can kind of expect that. And then we hugged the midpoint, came back up, saw it, tried to go back up over the VWAP, rejection. Enough rejections, it's going to fall back down to the selling climax area, to trading range support, which I believe it does very soon. See, there it goes. It falls back down, and what it does is a mitigation, and this one fell straight through it, and it fell through on large supply volume. So that's that's what validates the markdown, or the sell-off, or the dump, is this large supply spike. So we know it's not a fake out. So we're seeing that. So that hasn't transpired yet, but we have bounced. We have gone back down to the ice where we sit now, currently. And I mean, we could just sit and watch this and see if it goes through. But what I anticipate is this is the price coming down to this, back down to this area here, slightly beneath the ice, and then having sort of like a period of lateral consolidation beneath it, trying to get above it. And then if it can't get above it, if this isn't going to be invalidated, it's going to fall just like it did here. Okay, so far so good. We're watching this, and we're about here now on the corresponding charts. So okay, so then we go to the macro here now, and this of course is this range that we've been looking at. Now I want to show you something here. Every time the price action has fallen into this pocket area, it's where we are now. See, we're here. This is us currently now. We're in between the 400 and the 200. We've fallen down into this pocket. So one of the ways we're going to know if this thing is going to pump, and that fractal, that is this fractal here, is going to be invalidated, is if we're able to get back up above the 200 simple moving average on the daily. This is that blue line, the simple moving average. Currently now it sits at around 110, about 110.5. So if we can get back above it, we can bust through this this macro trend resistance line, and that's this slanted rectangle. If we get above this, we break structure, we retest, and then if we nestle atop the this 200 SMA, then we see historically that every time the price action has come above it and retested it, it's pumped. It's pumped from there. It didn't go back down underneath. So we see that happening. I'll show you here. We fell into the pocket in this area here. This is after the golden cross, and we started the macro bull market. We came above it after being in the pocket down in here in this area. We came atop, and then it was a pump from there. Same thing here. The second time we came back down to the pocket, but we came up above the 200, retested it, and it was a pump from there, like we see here. And then again here in the pocket, we had this double bottom, touched the 400, came back up, prevailed through the 200, retested it, and it was up from there. So one of the things we want to look for is if we get up, if we're able to get up through, back up through this pocket, up above the 200 line. If we're able to break this this macro trend resistance, get on top, and then historically we'll see that, you know, it wouldn't be surprising if this goes up to make another new all-time high. Now on the other hand, here after the death cross, you see what happened with this one after it got into the pocket. See, it did it even here as well. In this old cycle, came up above the 200, went slightly down, but then it went up here, made another all-time high. So, but here it ducked down beneath the 400, the 2 and the 4, and then here it wasn't able to get back up. We noticed that the 2 and the 4 slowly converging, and then this was, and we talked about this in other videos, this area here where not only did it not get up above the 200, it was battling, it was fighting an uphill battle from beneath the 400, and so this signaled the end. And then shortly thereafter, we got the actual death cross here, where the 200 crossed beneath the 400, and so that was down from there. So we don't want to see that. So that would happen if it's unable to get out of this this pocket, and we see the 400, which is the orange line, and the 200 slightly converging, coming together here, and then the price action actually falling beneath the 4 and then doing this. So that's why we track the macro and the micro fractals at the same time. So we'll be able to tell, like, if this thing goes beneath the ice here. Now going back to these two charts, if this goes beneath the ice and we get like a play out like this where we start battling beneath the ice, and going back down to mitigate the selling climax, well, then we know that we're going to be sinking down a bit more. Sorry about that, my phone. Sinking more, and then we're more inclined to have this sort of scenario that we saw, back in 2022. So we look at we'll look at the news real quick, and I want to end this. I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm getting phone calls. Early 2026 tax relief. So one of the things that could get us out of the pocket is a significant stimulus check. It's talking about $2,000 tariff stimulus checks, and what it's kind of doing is that we saw something like that happen back in 2020. Back here, I think that's what launched this. I think because it was coming out of COVID, and then the government was issuing stimulus checks, and that increased the liquidity, more liquidity, and it was optimism, and it was able to bust through this bear market that we had. Remember, we came down under both here. This was in March 2020, so this is COVID, man. This is when COVID was heating up, and then here they got the news, I think, of the stimulus, and so that's what they pumped money into the economy to get people to start getting out and buying and save businesses and things like that. So that's what precipitated this kind of macro bull market. So we could see something like that happen if the Trump stimulus goes through on the tail end of the government shutdown and everything. So we're going to continue to watch the news. So if you see the price still trending within the pocket, and then news comes out that this actually goes through in the stimulus, then I would be bullish at that point, and especially if this fractal becomes invalidated, then we can expect and if the price action gets above the 200 SMA, like we looked at, and settles atop it, then we can reasonably expect another all-time high from here. So that's all I got. All right, guys, sorry about this. My mind's wandering, and my videos aren't edited, and so I just wanted to give you an update. If you're interested in this kind of technical analysis, I go much more in depth, and I answer questions. This is my Discord group. It's a paid Discord group. I only charge $25 a month, but you can ask me questions in here, and I post my fractals and all kinds of other stuff. We just don't talk about Bitcoin. There's also scalping and swing trades. When I am swing trading, I'll put my swing trades in here. There's more fractals, there's my tutorials, and so anyway, if you're interested, it's there for you. If you like to ramp up your technical analysis skills, check us out. I keep it extremely affordable. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks again for watching. If you made it this far, none of what you said or heard is none of what you've seen me say is to be taken as financial advice. It's for education purposes only, but you already knew that. All right, guys. Man, I'm cooked. I got to get out of here. All right, we'll see you later. Adios. Bye-bye.